The BBC.
Quite a match at the ATP Tour Finals. In fact, I think it's the match of the tournament so far. Rafa Nadal, a French Open champion, against Dominic Thiem, the US Open champion. Our correspondent Russell Fuller is in London. How's it going, Russell?
I think it's one of the very best matches of the year. Exceptional quality, Dennis. Being played out, let's remember, in a virtually empty arena. Dominic Thiem took the first set on a tie-break by 9 points to 7. The first break of serve of the match went to Rafael Nadal in the 7th game of the second set. Thiem immediately broke back and then had 3 match points, with Nadal serving at 4-5 love 40. But the Spaniard saved them all and closed out the game with the help of a through-the-legs lob shot. We're now into a second set tiebreak, and Dominic Thiem with the slight edge, 4-3 ahead with 2 serves to come.
Russell, thank you. You can watch the match on BBC Two right now. Meanwhile, 5 Live Sports Extra has commentary of defending champion Stefanos Tsitsipas against Andrei Rublev from 8 this evening. Now, let's get more on football's summit meeting. The Culture Secretary Oliver Dowden met virtually with representatives from the men's and women's game earlier. Our sports news reporter Laura Scott joins me. Laura, what can you tell us, first of all?
Well, this was a meeting of the key stakeholders in football, so representatives of the Premier League, the EFL, the FA, the PFA, fan groups and representatives of the women's game, as well as the anti-discrimination charity Kick It Out. And they were meeting to tackle some of the major issues that have come up recently in football and have caused some division. Those are issues like the financial crisis, continuing negotiations over a bailout with the EFL, governance reforms, diversity and inclusion off the back of Greg Clark's resignation last week, and, of course, the return of fans. That's inextricably linked to the financial crisis, and that was a major talking point today. And essentially, they were trying to get some unity back in football after a divisive period of time in the last couple of months.
We know as well, don't we, the Prime Minister Boris Johnson has specifically indicated, hasn't he, that getting fans back into stadiums now is a priority.
Yes, he held a meeting with MPs yesterday, and it was said that he has said that they'll work hard to get the return of fans on the agenda for when the lockdown ends in England next month, as is planned. And we understand that the officials in the Department for Digital Culture, Media and Sport are now exploring the possibility of different rules for different tiers and whether that will allow fans to return in areas where there are the lowest infection rates. Obviously, this is all dependent on whether conditions allow for it. But we know how much fans care about getting back into stadium. 200,000 people have signed petitions calling for the return of fans. And the FSA, the Football Supporters Association, were in the virtual summit today, and they've responded saying that they were lobbying in that meeting for the return of supporters, and they've said fans need football and football needs fans. So no decisions made as yet, but some positive noises coming out of the government for football fans at the moment.
Laura, thank you. Laura Scott, our sports news reporter there on the latest from that summit meeting surrounding football. The family of 1966 World Cup winner Nobby Stiles says football needs to address the scandal of dementia and has criticised the PFA's lack of support for players. The former England and Manchester United midfielder died earlier this month. He was the 5th member of England's World Cup winning squad to have been diagnosed with dementia. Here's Nobby's son, John Stiles.
We've had a study last year and nothing's been done. They could have been building homes or providing care, but they've done nothing. They're just hiding behind the fact that it's very difficult to get conclusive 100% evidence of a brain injury.
The BBC has contacted the PFA for a response. The World Anti-Doping Agency has raised concerns after the United States Senate passed a bill that will allow US officials to prosecute anyone involved in doping at international sporting events. US Anti-Doping Agency Chief Travis Tygart said it was monumental in the fight for clean sport, but WADA say that despite positive elements of the bill, it is concerned the legislation will disrupt the global legal anti-doping framework. And there is a result at the O2 in the tennis. Russell Fuller.
Dominic Thiem has beaten Rafa Nadal in straight sets. He's won it in 2 tie-breaks, 9-7, 7-5. He won 3 tie-breaks when he beat him in the quarterfinals of the Australian Open in January. A lot of water has gone under the bridge since then. Thiem's won the US Open, Nadal's won the French Open, but it's the US Open champion who wins their match in the round-robin stage here at the ATP Finals.
Thank you ever so much, Russell Fuller there. That's the latest for now from BBC Sport.
BBC Sport.